Hey guys, so there's gonna be two intros to this video. Actually, I was going through my video and I realized that I should probably just, do a disclaimer right away rather than let people watch 2 minutes of it and make their own assumptions. I am not a professional, I'm just a mom speaking on my own experience. Of course, you should always go to your pediatrician and let them know about your concerns. I am just, like a backup plan, basically, if you want to hear from a mom who's been doing this for a while. We're about to hit our 6-month mark. So, if you'd like to hear about my experience and my tips and the things I've done, this was a really quick, brief video. And, this was requested yesterday. Today is Thursday, so it's probably going to go up tomorrow, if not tonight. I am really excited to do this video, and if I didn't go over enough, please ask me anything you'd like and I can do a second video. I'd love to do it. So yeah, let's get into this. Hi there, if you've been to my channel, you probably already know who I am, but if you're new, I'm Alexis. Okay, yeah. And that is June, and this is Elijah, and filming today is my husband, Jesse. So it is different, and I feel a little nervous having him sit here and watch me talk to you guys. But the subject today is going to be breastfeeding, because I know a lot of people have questions. I know that in the beginning I had a lot of questions, and I had a lot of craziness in my mind when it came to the stress of breastfeeding. So hopefully today I can answer any questions you have, and if I forget or leave anything out, feel free to comment in the section down below, and I will most definitely get back to you on that. Alright, so the first thing I want to jump into is that it is definitely very hard to do, but it's of course not unachievable. If it's something you're super, ready to do and you don't want to do anything else, then be prepared, of course, for the fact that you're going to have nipple tenderness, and after having the baby, your uterus is shrinking, so of course that hurts a bit more. And out of experience, I can let you know the first few periods aren't going to be the greatest. It's going to feel just like when you first started breastfeeding as your uterus was shrinking. But it passes. I know you're going to sit there and be like, oh my god, it's never going to end. It passes, and then it's just smooth sailing, kind of, from there. And along with that, I don't want to forget, there's also the letdown pains, which aren't that bad. It's just, in the beginning, your breasts are engorged, and you have all this extra milk, as your body's trying to figure out how much your baby needs. And with that, you get all of these crazy, super strong letdowns. And after time, that also passes, which for me kind of sucks, just because I'm like, have I had a letdown yet? I don't know, because your boobs aren't engorged anymore either. And you get that false sense of, wow, I'm so full and I have all this milk. Well, that goes away and you're like, am I full of milk right now or what? Because my baby's been latched on and off a million times. And that's something else to expect. So with that, you start to worry. You're like, am I not producing enough milk? And I remembered that was the hugest freak out I had, because I was so dedicated to breastfeeding. He just wants to be all over the place. I was so dedicated to it, and I remember, and I know Jesse remembers too, I was freaking out at one point going, I'm not producing enough. He is always on me, and he's like, arching his back, and he's freaking out, and he's on 1 second, and it, seems like it's gonna be smooth, and then he's screaming and crying, and this transition happens over and over and over again, and the baby gets so tired they pass out, wake up, and they want to do the same thing over and over again, and it can be so stressful, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not producing enough milk, I need to switch to formula. And I am here to tell you that, of course, like I said, of course, ask your pediatrician, but from my experience, that's probably not the case. I hear a lot of moms say the same thing, they're freaking out that they aren't producing enough, and you are. It's just you're no longer engorged and you're no longer leaking, and the baby of course is acting out of character. You know, you're not used to all of this screaming and crying. You had a quiet little newborn in your home that was content from all of the milk that you were overproducing. My son's case was actually acid reflux. That's why he was freaking out and acting like he wasn't getting enough. He was just in pain. So, you know, when they act like that, of course, always ask your doctor to check and see if they have acid reflux or if they have any stomach problems. It can also be because your baby's impatient, or you're still getting that super overreactive letdown. Sometimes when you're getting your letdown, it's of course as your baby's latching and they're small, they're not used, you know, they're still learning how to work their jaws and get the milk. So, you know, when they get that overreactive letdown, they start to choke on it, and that probably is really upsetting too. There's a number of reasons why your baby is acting the way they are. And of course, you know, it's good to talk to a professional to see what it is, but usually it's just like impatient babies, acid reflux, too much milk at once. There you go, you have the toy. It's all yours. It's all yours. This fake little laugh. I mean, those are just a few things that I've addressed. There's going to be a number of reasons why you will probably freak out and think you're not producing enough. But with that, these are the things you want to look for. Frequent wet diapers. As long as your baby isn't peeing frequently, you're fine. And also, as you go to your pediatrician and you get their checkups, if they're gaining weight and they're on, you know, with their charts where they should be, you're fine. Just keep trying, keep going at it. I say until they're about 4 or 5 months is when you should start freaking out. I mean, we still have troubles now. He's a stressed out little baby. I thought he was over his acid reflux because this is about the time that they start to outgrow it. And I was wrong, and he still has it. And giving him his medication once now at the end of the day actually helps. Versus twice a day. What is it? You don't like it when I don't look at you, huh? You want me to talk to you, not the camera? Yeah. So some tips I have, if you really want to make sure that you just have an abundant milk supply, something that helped me in the beginning, I had, what was the name of it? Sorry, I had to look to see what it was called. It's the Upspring Milk Flow, and it is the fenugreek and blessed thistle, and it's the berry drink mix, which, I don't know, it doesn't really taste like berries to me. But I wasn't in it for the taste. I was just trying to make sure I had a great milk supply, which I did. But everybody's different. I had a bad reaction. I started actually getting bumps on my skin. I had an allergic reaction. I was really itchy and I felt dizzy, so I had to switch. And that's another tip. I did my own pink drink. And what you do is you have 1 part coconut water, 1 part coconut milk, but I always do the coconut almond. And then 1 part mixed berry drink, and that was delicious. I think I went through it in maybe 3 days. I would get, you know, so many glasses of it, and I personally definitely believe the coconut milk is what helped me produce more. I feel like if I ever am just not producing enough in the day, or, you know, I just feel like I'm not giving him enough, I drink a couple glasses of coconut milk. I feel like instantly my milk supply is just better. And stay hydrated, of course. Why are you trying to grab my hair with your toes? In the very beginning, with my daughter, I didn't do this, and I'm so glad I did with my son, because the more you pamper yourself, the more comfortable you're gonna be, and you're gonna feel like you're doing a good job. So I'd have a snack with me every time I'd go to breastfeed, something light like peanut butter and crackers, a banana, whatever you want. I would just do really light snacks, and then always keep water around. And if you forgot to bring your water, remind your partner to bring it to you anytime they see you nursing, because in the first month, you're gonna feel so dehydrated. I don't know what it is. It's like they take everything out of you. And having that water next to you makes you feel so much better. You need to stay hydrated. I can't just tell you how important it is to stay hydrated. I also did what was it? I do oatmeal for breakfast. That helps a lot too. I always do oatmeal with coconut milk. And then I have flaxseed meal, actually. That's what it was. And I put that in my oatmeal. Anything that it would taste good in, I would put it in there. I mean, I was being a real OCD freak about eating and drinking things that help with milk production and staying away from things that hinder the ability to produce more milk. And if you really are nervous like I was, I mean, I'd have dreams about breastfeeding all the time. I was just really worried about it. Definitely look into things that you shouldn't be drinking or eating and stay away from them for at least the first month. Once you establish that milk supply, you should be fine. So the first month, I would say, is like the most important time of breastfeeding. And also, in the beginning, I feel like establishing a good position with your child is gonna help. Always have back support. If you don't have a nursing pillow, have a couple pillows behind you. Keep some pillows up for your feet. Make sure you're extremely comfortable because, like I said, the beginning of breastfeeding can be a bit painful and uncomfortable, but once it's established, I feel like you just, you're comfortable. You don't need any of that. And I will go ahead and show you guys some of those positions. Alright, so when my son was first born, his face was so much smaller than my breasts. Actually, I always felt like he was being smothered. So we would do the football hold, which he does not like anymore. Can you tell? Hi. Hi. So what you do is you hold them with this arm, the arm from that side. And then you would hold your breast and hold them too. He thinks he's gonna eat right now. Alright. On either side. Now that he's older, the only time I actually hold him in one of these positions is if we're out in public. But there's also the cross cradle. So you'd hold them to nurse like that. Or what we do every single day since we're home. What we do every day since we're home, actually, so we'll do the side lay. And what you do is, depending on which breast you're using, you would lay down and lay them next to you and see he's gonna think I'm about to feed him. And then, so let's say since he's on this side, he'd get this breast. And it's so easy. You can sit there and talk to them and your arms are free, your back doesn't need to be supported. He's getting out of here to get his toy. But that's actually our favorite position. Those are some of the positions we've used. And of course, there are many more that you could look into. Those are just the ones that we've tried. Especially if you have larger breasts in the beginning, their faces are so tiny. I feel like the football hold is kind of the best. You feel like they're more secure and they're not being smothered because their faces are so tiny. And I know this is, already back in another section of the video, but I just thought of it. Your babies also might be acting kind of cranky because you might have eaten something new that they just don't like. So pay really close attention to what it is you're eating and drinking, of course, in the first month, because, they're gonna let you know if they don't like what they're getting. But for the most part, I don't think anything's really affected him. Like they say caffeine's bad, and I've always had like at least a cup of coffee, and he doesn't seem bothered by it at all. And I felt really guilty, and I thought that's what was upsetting him, but he just had acid reflux, and as soon as he got the medicine, nothing was bothering him anymore. Oh, here you go. So just to remember, the beginning of breastfeeding is all about comfort and try not to stress. I know that's so hard to say because I'm a big stressor. If I feel like something's not going right, I freak out and I have to know what it is that's not going right, why it's not working, and stress can actually make you start to reduce production as well. And it's just so important to remain firm and calm and just keep going for it. As long as they have wet diapers and they're gaining weight, you're doing fine. It's just going to be stressful for a little while. I mean, some people have easy babies. I've heard of women that have had no problems, and you're lucky and congratulations. But there are women like myself who are struggling a bit, and I still get frustrated sometimes. It's just a part of it. But the best thing is It is so bonding. It's such a different and beautiful bond, and it's definitely worth doing if this is the choice you've made. My son hasn't gotten sick yet. He's a week away from being 6 months old, and he has not been sick once. My daughter got the flu and he didn't get it. When I'm stressed out and he's ready for a feed, you know, even if I'm cranky or in the worst mood right before I'm gonna feed him, as soon as we're nursing and I'm sitting there talking to him and you know, we're looking at each other, it just calms me down, and it's so relaxing. It's the best feeling ever. He is a chunk. He will not get off. I mean, he's already eating solids, but he's on the breast a lot, so it's right when he first wakes up, and then right before he falls asleep. So, you know, it's in the morning, at nap, bedtime, and he wakes up about 3 times at night. There are times where I find him latched by himself. He just goes and takes it. But it's so worth it. I get more sleep that way. I remember with my daughter, I'd have to get up, make the bottle, make sure it was the right temperature. And then you're sitting there, and I know all of you moms who have given your babies formula and have been sleep deprived, put in the scoops, put in the water, and then you go, wait a second, did I put in the 2 scoops? How many scoops? Did I put more? And then even if you're mid-scoop, you know, you're half asleep and you're like, wait a second, how many scoops did I just put in there? But with him, I just give him the breast and you can go back to sleep. He's big enough now, and I know some people freak out about that too. As a newborn, I definitely don't suggest falling asleep. But with him, I mean, he does it when I am asleep. I don't know that he's latched, and I wake up and I'm like, okay, well, there you are. You've got the boob. Okay, congratulations, good for you. And I go back to sleep. And I mean, he is such a happy, healthy baby, and I'm a happy mom. So yeah, if there any questions, anything I've missed in this video, please do let me know. The biggest thing is just don't stress and don't let your body trick you. Your breasts won't be engorged forever, and you will not feel your letdowns forever. And with that, what I like to do is actually have rubber bands on my wrist. I have 2, one for my hair and one for my wrist. And so if I feed on one side, let's say he was on this side today, I put the rubber band on this wrist, and then when I go to feed him on the next side, I put the rubber band on that wrist. And it's a good reminder as to which breast you've been on. And if it feels like your baby is not getting enough of the hind milk, that's the fattier milk. So you have the fore milk, which is the more watery milk, and then you have the hind milk, which is fatty. If you feel like he or she is not getting enough of the hind milk, start for 5 minutes on the side that you last fed on, and then switch to the next side. So they're still being hydrated, they're getting all the fats they need. Something else I learned is some women have fattier breast milk. I do. I don't really ever see any of the fore milk, which is probably bad. And some women have less fatty milk. And so if you want to help your baby gain weight quicker, go ahead and feed them 5 minutes on the first breast, and then do it on the other side that they haven't fed on yet. Yeah. And if you feel like you're not producing enough still and you're trying everything I've suggested, something else I did, I actually went crazy. I pumped in the beginning. I got all of that extra milk he was not taking, and I put it in storage, in the freezer in storage bags. And I fed him on each side for 5 to 10 minutes. And I'd go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I actually don't remember how much sleep I got at the time, but I was so stressed and I wanted to produce a lot of milk, and now I am. We're doing good, huh? And if you are worried when you first have your baby, whether they be premature or if you're stressed out that, your colostrum isn't coming in quick enough, what we did is we actually got some donor's milk from the nurses before we left, and I would give him my colostrum on top of, I think it was 1/8 of an ounce of breast milk. I don't remember. They'll let you know when you're bringing baby home, or you can ask your pediatrician depending on how big your baby is now. But you can always get some donor's milk and just work on upping that supply, and pumping does help. I can't pump anymore. My breasts won't produce milk for the pump. It's only him, which is fine because we don't have really anywhere to go, and if we do, we're gonna feed in public no matter what, huh? Because you need to eat. But yeah, hopefully those tips are helping you, and of course, like I said, please don't stress. You're doing a good job. You're a good mom. You're doing amazing. It's just so hard. It really is. I think everything about being a parent is stressful in the beginning, in the middle, throughout all of it. There's always going to be stress, but you're doing a really good job, and keep at it. And, you know, just keep on keeping on. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please do subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you can get videos, because I'm always putting up videos. Maybe not as often as I should be, because it is definitely different being a mom of 2 now, but I will always be putting up videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!